I am Madrina. I'm an Aloha girl who grew up modeling, but I didn't have a model childhood. As a teen, the law and I were acquainted, but not necessarily in a good way, if you know what I mean. So I left Hawaii in my troubled past, moved to Pensacola, and opened a new business. Now, I'm a Louis-carrying, Gucci-wearing philanthropist. The adversity I faced as a child gave me the heart, compassion, and understanding for the work I do today as a volunteer and community leader. I've also improved my relationship with the law. Roll with me throughout our community and I'll introduce you to the many organizations and people doing amazing work. All right, I am so excited today. I have a very handsome, dapper,
there you go,
successful, good smelling, good looking, got a beautiful wife and an awesome family on the set today. The one, the only, Aaron Watson.
Woo, look at that introduction.
Woo, look at how handsome you look,
too. Did you guys hear that introduction, though?
It's the truth, baby.
It might have been the best one I've heard in my entire career. I just want to let you know that. I like it.
I agree. Well, I got my brother Aaron Watson here and his beautiful wife just offset here. I tried very hard to get her on camera, but she said no. And with a personality like Aaron's, that's all you need. And the reason why I have Aaron Watson with the Watson Law Firm on the show today is because of all the great things that he has achieved and all the wonderful things that he's doing for our community, the ways that he and his wife give back, and then the goals that he has going forward. In the young age of only 35 years old, he has attained a lot of success. If you say that to him, however, he'll say, I'm not yet successful. I've got big goals and I'm going somewhere. So we're going to let him do all the talk because they've done great things, and I want you to hear from him because he's electric and he's captivating. And I had the privilege of going to his birthday party last year.
Oh yes, we had a good time.
Party
we had a good time.
Of the century. Best party I think I might have gone to in Pensacola, Florida. Sorry, everyone's going to be offended, but the food was lit, the music was lit, the vibe was lit, and then he started stepping, stomping, dancing with his homeboys. It was off the chain. So I cannot wait. I will never miss a birthday party of Aaron's if I'm ever inclined to be invited again.
Well, I'll tell you, Madrina, when my wife and I were talking about the party, we said we wanted to be ourselves, you know, take out the professional hats and be true to ourselves, because, you know, when we travel, that's what we do. Where people don't know us, we're on the dance floor, we let our hair down, and we do what we want to do. And so we said we wanted to do something here in Pensacola, and we're going to continue to do things like that in Pensacola. You know, one of my dreams is to be able to do that on a large scale. I want people to see what my wife and I have experienced in national and international travels, just like you have, you know, and let them, you know, if they never get outside of Pensacola, at least they can say, you know what, I had some shrimp and I had some lobster at a party.
And
you know,
some good music. And I saw Aaron dance in his Versace shoes.
There
Let me tell you, if any party he throws, I'm there. I mean, I think it was a little bit of Real Housewives of Escambia County action or Santa Rosa County.
There you go.
But it was amazing. But Aaron is a hometown boy. He was actually born in New York, but he went to middle school and high school here, right here in Pensacola. Graduated from Pine Forest.
Go Eagles.
Got his bachelor at Florida State. Went to law school at Stetson in South Florida. And a lot has happened between then and now, but he took a job down in South Florida, and he came back to Pensacola, and he worked for a law firm here, and then he started one of his very own. So I just gave you the little overview, snippet. But I want you to talk about where you've been. For sure.
Well, hey, I want to talk about back in law school, and so I am the first lawyer in my family. You know, I remember going to visit law schools and telling my dad, hey, I want to be a lawyer, you know, but I don't have anybody to call. I have nobody to call and tell me how to pass the bar exam, how to get through law school. But he said, just have faith, you know, and, you know, you have the gifts, you can move mountains if you have faith. But the thing is one thing about law school, I went to Stetson. Stetson is the #1 school in the country for trial advocacy. If you want to be a lawyer, you see how I'm talking? We want justice, you know. If you want to be a lawyer, you want to fight in the courtroom.
Do you actually like study preaching when you're a lawyer?
Oh,
because
no.
Sometimes y'all get in those final arguments.
Yeah.
And it is, do they teach you how to argue?
Well, it's called trial advocacy. They have classes, but in law school, they pick the top people in this whole school and they put them on a team to go and compete against other schools. Harvard, Yale, all these big name schools. I was selected for that team in law school, competed with over 200 teams across the country and never lost a round.
I believe it.
Was #1 in the whole country before I ever graduated from law school. And so when I went to apply for the Levin firm, you know, they said, hey, you know, this guy is a national champion already. And so I attribute, you know, my success even in law school to my church background. I learned to preach in the courtroom in church. I was in courtroom recently, and the court reporter said, "Are you a preacher?" You know, I was crying back here, you know. But you know, my dad taught me how to move people. You know,
your father was a pastor.
He's a pastor. My brother's a pastor. My mother's a minister. You know, there's a lot of preachers.
So y'all have some charismatic spirit already in the family.
Yeah, I say they'll save your soul, you know, and I'll help you in the courtroom. You know, you need both.
Yeah, that's right.
Both. I guess like I said, I'll save your A word, but you know, anyhow.
He'll cover your butt, and his brother will lay hands on you and pray for you.
There you go. They're at the end of it all, you know. And so it was really an honor to be able to bring back, you know, my talent, you know, what I learned, my experience in law school, my doctorate degree, bring back to the people here in Pensacola who helped me to become who I am. I represented some of my teachers from high school, you know, and one of my teachers said, you don't have your pants below your waist and those chains around your neck and earring holes. I mean, I used to be.
I would love to see. Kim, can you send us a picture of that to get in here?
One of my first interviews after law school, the lady told me, she said, "Sir, are those earring holes in your ear?" Because they don't go away. They're still there. You can see them, you know. But, you know, that's a part of me, you know. I don't run away from that. Just like when I was listening to your story, you don't run away from your story.
I'm not embarrassed about it whatsoever.
It helped you to become who you are, you know. And so when I have a client that comes in and they say, oh, I'm a doctor, but I was hurt, I can put on the tie and I can talk professionally. But if I have someone that comes in, it doesn't matter if they have dreadlocks or maybe even gold teeth. I can sit down and say, hey, how's it going, man? How can I help you out? You know, but I think your life experience, you know, being able to work with professors, people in high society, being able to go to church and work with the mothers, it teaches you humility.
Right.
Everybody's a person, no matter how much money or success they have, they're all people, you know, and your ability to talk with people and relate with people and empathize with people will make you a better professional, better citizen, and certainly a better lawyer.
And so, but you worked with a very prestigious and famous lawyer down in South Florida before you came up here and worked with another famous lawyer. Let's talk about them and how they shaped you.
Yeah, no, you know, my dream, you know, if there were 3 lawyers I wanted to meet when I was coming up, you know, in law school. It was Johnny Cochran, he passed away, Fred Levin, and Willie Gary. Now, I'm from Pensacola. You know, I had never met Fred Levin before. I just heard about him, you know. But I said, you know what, I want to meet him. You know, he's a great lawyer, nationally known, probably internationally known, you know, and I'd like to meet him, you know. And so I was able to work with 2 and try cases. I was in the courtroom with both of them. But,
well, that's very impressive. 2 out of the 3 idols or mentors he wanted to meet. He's worked with 2 of them. Yeah,
now Willie Gary, you know, Google him. Yeah, he has jumbo jets that he flies around the country. I don't know if he still does it, but I mean, he's called the giant killer in the courtroom.
But his jets are called
the Wings of Justice, you know, and so how he got his reputation as the giant killer, I'll give you an example. He was just here in Pensacola trying a case against a tobacco company a few years ago. He got a $23 billion verdict, you know. He was getting verdicts like this when I was in law school, and it inspired me.
And as far as verdicts go, excuse me, $23 billion off the charts.
It's off the charts. It's from the Supreme Court.
Top 1%.
Yeah, that's extremely rare. But it speaks to his ability to persuade. And one thing I found when I worked for him is he sounded like me. You know, when he argued, he sounded like a preacher. In fact, when I argued in front of him, he said, don't lose that righteous indignation. He said, my brother's a pastor. You know, don't try to fit into a box. Don't try to sound like other folks sound, like the TV lawyers. Sound like you. And so when I go into the courtroom now, I sound like me or my dad. Members of the jury.
Probably you sound like your dad.
We demand justice. You know, I talk to him straight up.
Yep. And you dress all dapper Don like this in the courtroom?
Definitely, you know.
Woo, I bet them female jurors, he can persuade them so easy.
Right.
But anyway, you worked with Willie for some time.
For sure. And I'll tell you, you know, when you are mentored by lawyers like that, you know, one of the first times I went into Willie Gary's office to use the restroom. He had a gold toilet in his office, a solid gold toilet. And I was like, Willie, I got to use the restroom.
Not gold plated, not gold painted,
whatever,
but it was
gold. You know, I was a law student, a poor law student, so I just remember it was gold. The handles in his office was gold. And so he was like, go in there and use that. And I looked at it, I was like, nah, I'm going to go downstairs and use the regular toilet. But he'd drive to work in his Bentley. His wife had a Bentley. Rose, he was not ashamed of his wealth, but he didn't know that how much he inspired me. You know, I saw that and said, you know what, I can have that. And so when people see me now, you know, say, you know, well, you drive a nice car, you have this or that. I want to do that to inspire you, you know, because, I mean, you know, we look at the rappers, we look at the athletes, they have this or that, but there is another way. And my way was through school, through education. Young people, I'm talking to you. It's okay. It's okay to go to school. You can achieve big dreams by going to school. And listen, school is not for everybody, but if you look at me and if you look at my story and you're inspired, what I'm doing is telling you I got this through school, through law school. We need more lawyers. We need more diversity in the courtroom. I can't tell you how many times I go to court.
And you know what, brother? Yeah. I mean, we need more African-American lawyers. We do. Because I talked to you off camera and I said, it's so amazing. I mean, I hate to be like a racist or about it.
It's not racist at all. It's a fact.
When you have a case, you can call someone you can identify with to represent you. And I asked him what was the demographic of his clientele. Has he been a good representation for the black community? And he said 75% and 25% white, and it's growing more and more diversified. But I think it's great that the African-American community has you.
For sure, for sure. And I'd say, you know, when I hire, if you look at the diversity of my staff, you know, we have white, black, other ethnicities. I want my law firm to reflect the community. You know, it's a diverse community. And so if you're African American, if you're white or of other persuasion, when you come in, I want you to feel comfortable. And the fact of the matter is there's some people who want a lawyer that looks like them, that sounds like them, who they understand, whether that's a white lawyer or a black lawyer. And so we can
understand some of their struggles.
Jason Girth, he's a white attorney at my firm. Todd Early, he's a white attorney at my firm. You know, and so, you know, we're about to hire our first black female attorney. You know, and so the vision for the firm is to have diversity throughout. And so no matter what your background is, no matter what your preference is, we can meet it and we can help you out. We can represent you, you know, and so.
Whew, I'm telling you, there's our first segment. We got so much more to talk about. We're going to take a short break and be right back.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Aloha, I'm Madrina Ciano, the host of Rolling with Madrina. We've had some great feedback about the programming we're offering, and we have a lot of viewers. If you would like to sponsor an episode of Rolling with Madrina or advertise on BLABTv, give us a call today.
Hi, I'm Smokey Cole Bear, filling in because for 75 years, Smokey only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
Meanwhile, the song was wrong. We did start the fire. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Okay, we're back with Aaron Watson of Watson Law Firm, game changer, community advocate, and doing so much in our community. He mentioned just before we went to break that they're about to hire their first female African-American lawyer. Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
yes.
You know, listen, I'm all about giving people opportunity, you know, and believe me, there's some people, some clients that come to my firm and they prefer to talk about sensitive things with a female lawyer, you know, you know, we handle all different types of cases, sexual harassment cases.
Yeah, what is your specialty in your firm?
And so, you know, in a nutshell, we do lawsuits, you know, and so, you know, that's a simple way of understanding what we do. And why do you sue somebody? You sue somebody for money damages. So when I get involved, it's about money. I'm not there to put you in jail to get you out of jail. I'm there to pursue monetary damages for my clients, whether that be in a sexual harassment context, a car accident, slip and fall. Anytime someone has harmed you, your reputation, caused you bodily injury, and you say, you know what? This isn't my fault. I want to pursue monetary damages. You hire us. And so there's a lot of folks here in town. Listen, I think you asked me something before the camera started rolling. You said, what do you do about the haters here in town?
Well, Rose, I asked him off camera, I'm often accused of being a little extra. Yeah. I don't know why people call me extra, but they do. But my brother Aaron shares that same disorder. We like a little flashy. His nails are done. He's got his little jewelry all shining, and he's looking dapper. And he just bought him a real fancy new car out of Atlanta. Yeah. And so I told him, brother, I'm so proud of you and Kim. I went to your housewarming party. I'm so proud. They're only in their mid-30s and they've achieved way more than some adults ever achieve in their lifetime. And I'm happy for them. But there are always going to be those people who are not. And I said to brother, how do you answer that, or how do you handle that?
Yeah, and so my line of work, I file lawsuits against businesses, corporations, people. Believe me, I got a lot of haters here in town and internationally. One of my highest verdicts was $12.6 million. I'm sure that company didn't want to pay, but I mean, I'm used to having haters. If I sue you, you're probably going to hate me. And I get that. So I'm comfortable. In fact, I like it to have a little bit of hate. It inspires me. And so, the real question is, you asked me, Madrina, you said, well, why do you do that? Why do you drive the car you drive? Why do you do A, B, and C? I like to wear nice clothes, A, B, and C. It's because I tell you, people inspired me doing that stuff, and part of the goal is to inspire others, to show people that there's another way. But I'll be honest with you, Madrina, I like to travel. We went to Africa, we went to pretty much all around the globe, Australia this past year, Japan, we post about it on Facebook, but we do it to show people, especially entrepreneurs. Madrina, I feel like since I've opened a business, it's almost like total freedom. If I wanted to pick up and go to Japan right now, we could. Now when you're working for people, you can't necessarily do that. But business ownership, allows you to be able to go where you want to go, do what you want to do within reason, but also have what you want to have if you have the work ethic and you have the faith, and so everything we have, we work for, and we pray for it. And I would look at lawyers with Rolex watches on and say, one day I would have like a little digital watch. And,
he was having an Omega, and he wanted to get a Rolex.
No, it wasn't Omega. I think it was like maybe a Seiko or something, but even that was high end to me, But,
and not to say that the material things or what create that happiness, he has that God in his life, in that family, and he gives back to the community, which we're going to talk about here. But there's nothing wrong with working hard and spending your money to look good or drive good or vacation good. And sometimes I think people are narrow-minded about that, and they call it showboating.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with it, but I think if you look at my background, I came up from under Fred Levin. Let's just start with that. I mean, everybody in the city knows how he rolls, and listen, Fred's my mentor. I would love to go to his house for parties and just say, wow. But you know what else I used to say? One day I'm going to have that, And then with Willie Gary, you go over his house on the water, big mansion, Bentleys and all that stuff. And I said, one day I'm going to have that. But then I sit back and say, why did God put me around these people? These are the two lawyers that mentored me to show me, Aaron, you can have that, and you're going to have that.
Amen.
And so when God shines a light on me, I'm not going to block the light. I was talking to my pastor the other day. He said, Aaron, listen, when we were talking about our home, we were like, hey, the realtor wants to post it on Facebook. What do you think? He was like, Aaron, it would be selfish for you to hide God's light. When you stepped out on faith and told the Pensacola News Journal you're going to start your own law firm, I mean, there are people in the community that said that's a mistake. I've had people come up to me and say,
because you left the Levin law firm to start your own, and people were like, woo, what are you doing?
What's going to happen, but I said, and I told you can go and Google Aaron Watson leaves Levin, but I said, God told me to do this. Those are my words specifically when I even talked to them, I said, God told me to do this, you know, and so God's name is on the line here. And look at what God has done.
So, brother,
just Google us and look at what
right.
God has done. He will do what he says he's going to do.
Google him. He keeps saying Google him.
If WatsonFirm.com, you got to get an advertisement. WatsonFirm.com. You know, Google personal injury lawyers. I was fascinated. You Google personal injury lawyer.
Because, brother, you've only been practicing like 10 years,
listen,
right?
10 years. The firm has been open for 3 years, but Google personal injury lawyer Pensacola, and you're going to see that we pop up on the first page with law firms who've been around for 50 years. We've only been around for 3 years.
That's a blessing.
So when people ask me, Aaron, are you successful? You know, my answer is I'm not successful. The dream is a lot bigger than what you see. This is just the beginning. We've entered into the first couple pages of chapter 1, you know, but we still got to get to chapter 20. I'm 35 years old.
Yeah, you got a lot more years ahead of you.
You know, so my dream is to open firms and businesses throughout the country. You know, that's what God showed me, and that's why when I stepped out on my own, I didn't have any hesitation. I talked with my wife. She said, Aaron, I believe in you. I'll go homeless with you is what she said.
Oh, girl.
Now, when your wife tells you that, you know, and she's in there, Kim was pregnant with a paintbrush in Town and Country Plaza, painting the walls in there. You know, that's where we first opened our business. But that's love. She sincerely believes I'm one of the best lawyers in the world. And when you have a wife like that comes into the courtroom with you, you know, you're ready to kick some butt in the courtroom. You know, and so,
now you got a set of twins, 3-year-old twins to take care of.
She was pregnant with them. At the time I quit my job at my prior firm, you know, so we quit the job when she had babies, you know. But let me tell you, here's the real story. So at the time I told them that I was going to leave, I didn't know she was pregnant, you know. So we found out like the next week. And so, but we had been trying to have kids, and we were concerned about whether or not we would have it. But you know, I did what God told me to do, and I said, all right, God, you're telling me I got to take a jump, so I'm going to do it. The next week, we find out she's pregnant with kids, and then so I wanted to go back up to Fred's office and be like,
never mind.
Fred, I was just playing. I'm just going to go back to my office and type, you know. I was just kidding. Don't worry about it. But talk about faith. So I say the best time to start a business is when you have 2 kids on the way, when you just bought a house, you just bought 2 cars. And so there is no best time to start a business. Sometimes you got to step out there and do something that nobody expects. Do something that just doesn't make sense. Do something that's not logical, because we look at what's happened in the news with Kobe Bryant. I got news of a client that recently passed away. And so you look at that and you say, life is short. Take some risk. You want that nice suit? Go get the nice suit, you know, because you don't want to pass away tomorrow and still having dreams. There's a quote that says one of the richest places in the world is the graveyard, because that's where folks who have big dreams go to die. And so the goal is to give birth to that dream now. You like Gucci, you like to have all this stuff. Go ahead and get it within reason. You know, I didn't always dress like this. You know, when I first met Kim, our first date, she still jokes about it. We got pictures of it. I'm glad you guys don't have that picture.
Duck head?
It was baggy clothes. I had, I was just a first year lawyer.
I'm so glad you cleaned him up.
Yeah, she got me tightened up.
Plus, he made some money, so he's up in that Neiman Marcus.
She got me tightened up.
Brother, talk about, if you want to talk about your family's Inglewood Baptist Church, but also the big turkey giveaway y'all been doing for Thanksgiving.
For sure. So you know, part of our story, you know, I grew up at a church here in town, Inglewood Baptist Church, you know, and over in Shantytown, quote unquote. That's what the name of the area is called. But, you know, we had a lot of people invest in us who believed in us. You know, I remember when I was going to law school, people would come and tell me, we're praying for you, you know. And so, you know, I would always see my dad, Pastor Larry Watson Sr., you know, we'd drive to church.
Google him.
Yeah, there you go. Google him too. We'd drive to church and people would stop and knock on his car and say, I don't have money to pay my bills, A, B, and C. And mind you, my dad was just a preacher. He had, 5, 6 kids, you know, but he's giving people money to help pay bills and all this stuff. And I never understood it. But he was showing me the importance of giving, because let me tell you something. My brothers and I, we never missed a meal. You know, my dad, for the most part of his life, he raised us by himself. We didn't have a mother. It was a single parent household, but he taught us the benefit of giving. The Bible says, give and you shall receive. So listen, I love my community. I like to give, but I do it because the Bible tells you to do it. If you want to receive, if you want to succeed, you got to give. It's a two-way street.
I agree.
You know?
I've always say I'm blessed for being a blessing.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so the more we give, I think we first started giving out 100 or 200 turkeys, and we went to 300.
What year was that?
I believe it was 2016, if I'm not mistaken. You know, our first year we were giving.
There you are, right there. Look at that.
Yeah, you know, went to Walmart. We just swiped a card, you know, and
so you go and buy all of this.
sure.
personally out of your own budget?
There is no, we don't, there is no, we don't take donations from other folks, and we have a couple partners that we do work with, the Robbins family, the Mayer family, and then initially the Kirkland family, but we'll go and get our card and go to Walmart and swipe it,
And how many turkeys did you do this past November?
500 turkeys,
Wow.
And so,
do you need help for that? Are you looking for a sponsor or a turkey donator or anything?
Madrina, I'll tell you, I've had people reach out to me about participating and potentially giving to the initiative. Right now, my wife and I, we don't want it to get big and corporate, because you got a lot of corporations who come in and then you lose the heart of it, and so at some point it may grow to that, but for right now, to be able to go back to the city where I grew up, and a lot of us grew up, and be able to shake hands and give hugs and all that stuff, to me, I get more out of it than they do,
Totally get it.
I could write a check to a 501c3 right now, but I wouldn't be able to see where it went. I can see our money and where it goes. I tell people,
see the people's faces.
Yeah, see their face. They give you a hug. They cry. Some of these people go out. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. They're there waiting. And so, part of success is giving back. And as we grow, I want the community to know that the reason that we're able to do what we've been able to do is because of you. And the more that they support us, the larger we grow, the larger that we'll be able to give. The dream is so much bigger than turkeys. I see us building homes for people, but we can't do that, without growing. We're only 3 years old, and so give us the 10 years and the 20 years.
Giving away 500 turkeys is no small deal. You shared a little story with me off camera. You just got a couple minutes here, and I want you to share it when you were sitting at a stoplight the other day. Someone pulled up. We're talking about being flashy, but yet spending that hard-earned money on things you want. And what happened when you were sitting at the stoplight?
Yeah, so my wife and I, we went to Atlanta. We were in the Martin Luther King parade, so there's no secret. We picked up a 2020 Bentley Continental GT. My wife knew that was my dream car. Willie Gary had a Bentley, and I was like, what, if I win this trial, we had a big trial that resolved for.
Did you think you would have it by the age of 35?
No, I didn't. I didn't. A lot of this stuff that's happening, it's all God. But we had a big case that resolved for $750,000, and I told my wife we were already having a stellar year, and I was like, if I win this case, we're gonna go, And she was like, Aaron, you deserve it, And so we went there, picked up a new car. But I had a young man pull up beside me. He said, "Sir, are you a rapper? Are you an athlete?" And I was like, "No, I'm a lawyer. Go to law school. You can have one of these." That experience in itself, it motivates me. I want to show people that there's another way. School is important. Education is important. You can be a lawyer. Look at me. And you can own a business. You can be successful. And so there's method to the madness, as you find in Shakespeare's saying. There's method to it. I don't want to just do this so people can say, "Oh, that guy has a nice office on the water." I want people to come in and say, "Man, I can have a nice office on the water."
Right there, you heard it from him. I'm going to have him back. There's so much to talk about. He's so dynamic. I wish you could feel the electric energy coming off of him, and there's no doubt that God has his hand on him and that he is ordained to achieve all that he has at such a young age. It's been a blessing and hard work, and we hope that you support the Watson Law Firm and all of their community initiatives. And thank you for watching Rolling with Madrina.